Stop chasing, start understanding. Most men go through life thinking they need to impress women with their looks, money, or charm. But what if I told you that none of those things truly matter? Here's a hard truth. What really pulls women in isn't what's loud, flashy, or performative. It's what's silent, deep, and psychological. It's the unspoken energy you carry, the way you hold yourself, the mystery you project, and the weaknesses within women's psychology that most don't even realize exist. And that is where real power begins. Today we're going to uncover the 10 hidden female weaknesses, not to manipulate, not to exploit, but to finally understand what most men don't. That women, like all human beings, have emotional triggers, subconscious patterns, and primal needs. And when a man aligns his mindset with Stoic principles, emotional discipline, self-respect, and inner calm, these weaknesses are not tools of control. They become windows into clarity. You'll learn why women are drawn to what they can't fully have, why they secretly crave a man who doesn't flinch under pressure, why confidence after rejection can be more attractive than any pickup line ever spoken. But more importantly, you'll learn how to stop chasing approval and start embodying unshakable presence. So if you've ever felt confused by a woman's reactions, if you've ever given everything and still been left behind, or if you're just tired of guessing what works, this video is your wake-up call. Because once you understand what drives attraction beneath the surface, everything changes. Stay with me to the very end. Number 10 is the most powerful insight of them all. It's the one weakness no woman will ever admit to, but it will shift how you carry yourself forever. Let's begin. The Stoic Way. Reason 1, emotional certainty. Be her calm in the storm. In a world of chaos, uncertainty, and emotional overload, what every woman silently craves, even if she never says it aloud, is emotional certainty. Women are emotional beings by nature. That doesn't mean they're irrational or weak. It simply means their emotional radar is always on. And in relationships, that radar is looking for one thing: a stable signal. Most men think passion, excitement, or spontaneity is the key to keeping her attention. And yes, those things have their place, but when life gets turbulent, when emotions run high, when things begin to break down, she's not looking for fireworks, she's looking for a lighthouse. This is where most men fail. They become reactive. They panic when she pulls away. They seek reassurance, validation, or they try to fix her mood. But here's the Stoic truth. The moment she feels like she has to regulate your emotions, attraction begins to die. You've now become the one who needs stability, and she's been forced into the masculine role of providing it. Stoic masculinity is the opposite. When she's angry, you don't match her tone, you remain calm. When she's silent, you don't beg, you observe. When things go wrong, you don't collapse, you stand. You become the emotional anchor, the one who isn't moved by storms, but who navigates through them with clarity and calm. That, right there, is one of a woman's greatest hidden weaknesses. She cannot resist a man who provides emotional certainty in a world full of chaos. She doesn't want a boy who reacts. She wants a man who holds. When she throws a test, she wants to see if you'll break. But when you don't, when you stay grounded, unbothered, quietly strong, something shifts in her. Respect deepens, desire follows. So remember this: emotional strength is not loud, it's not controlling, it's not dramatic, it's quiet. It's steady. It's stoic. Be her calm in the storm, and she'll never forget how safe she felt around you. Reason 2, desire for what they can't have, the power of scarcity. There's a universal law of human nature. We chase what's scarce. We value what's distant. And when it comes to attraction, women are no exception. In fact, one of the most powerful female weaknesses is her obsession with what she can't fully have. Think about it. What captures more attention? A common stone or a diamond? What creates desire faster? Something everyone can get, or something rare and hard to obtain? Now apply that to you. The man who is always available, always texting, always saying yes. He's convenient, predictable, and over time, forgettable. She may appreciate his effort, but deep down, something feels off. Why? Because the human brain doesn't chase what it already holds. It chases what it fears losing or can't fully grasp. Enter the high-value man, the Stoic. He doesn't rush. He doesn't reveal everything on day one. His time is valuable. His energy is selective. And he never ever revolves his life around her. That mystery, that distance, it activates her curiosity. Her imagination fills in the blanks. She starts wondering, where is he right now? Why hasn't he responded yet? Who else is capturing his attention? You see, you don't need to be rude or manipulative or play childish games. You just need to live a life that's full without her. Let her come into your world, not become your world. Because here's the paradox. The moment she feels like she's fully won you, her desire begins to fade. But when there's still more to discover, when you remain just out of reach, not emotionally cold, but confidently distant, that's when she stays hooked. It's not rejection, it's refinement. It's control over your availability, your attention, and your time. And nothing pulls a woman deeper than the feeling that she hasn't quite figured you out. So stop being easy access. Be selective. Be scarce. Be stoic. And she'll chase you harder than you ever imagined. Reason 3, voice and presence. Speak without speaking. Before you say a word, before you even step into the room, you're already speaking. How? Through your presence. Women are wired to pick up on subtle cues, body language, tone of voice, posture, energy. And one of their most underrated weaknesses is this. They are deeply attracted to a man who carries himself with silent authority. Let's start with the voice. Multiple studies show that men with deeper, more deliberate voices are consistently rated as more attractive. Why? Because a deep voice signals high testosterone, calmness, and control. It's a biological marker of leadership and strength. When you speak slowly and with purpose, it tells the world and her that you're not rushed, not anxious, and definitely not seeking approval. But here's the Stoic secret. It's not just your voice, it's your energy, your vibe, your presence. True presence isn't loud or flashy, it's quiet confidence. It's the man who walks into a room and doesn't have to prove anything because his calmness speaks louder than ego ever could. He holds eye contact without flinching. He stands tall, relaxed, unshaken. He speaks less, but says more. And when he moves with intent. Never rushing, never fidgeting, never desperate for attention. Compare that to the man who slouches, nervously laughs, fills silence with useless chatter, or tries too hard to be liked. She may not be able to articulate it, but her instincts will scream, "This man lacks strength." You don't need to dominate the room. You need to own your space. And that begins with posture, with breath, with presence. When you carry yourself with quiet power, your very being becomes magnetic. You don't have to chase, you draw in. So the next time you walk in, walk like you belong. Speak like every word has weight, and most importantly, let your silence say more than other men's noise. Because a man with deep voice and powerful presence doesn't beg for attention, he commands it. Reason 4, fear of losing you, the power of walking away. If you want to trigger one of the deepest psychological weaknesses in a woman, walk away like you don't need her. It sounds harsh, it sounds cold, but it's neither. It's truth, and it's power. See, most men do the exact opposite. The moment a woman pulls back, they panic. They chase, they explain, they apologize for things they didn't even do, all in the desperate hope of keeping her attention. But here's the hard Stoic truth. The moment she senses that you need her more than she needs you, the attraction dies. Because women, whether they realize it or not, are wired to respect strength. Not emotional chaos, not dependency, not desperation. And nothing communicates strength more than this: the ability to walk away without flinching. When a woman knows that if she disrespects you, if she plays games, if she breaks trust, you'll quietly remove yourself. It activates something powerful inside her. Not fear of you, fear of losing you. And that fear makes her value you more. This isn't manipulation. This is self-respect. It's setting the standard for how you allow yourself to be treated. Most men collapse under emotional pressure. The Stoic man, he stays grounded. He knows his worth. And if someone doesn't see it, he doesn't beg them to, because he understands walking away isn't weakness. It's the highest form of self-control. It says, I am whole with or without you. It says, I don't chase connection at the cost of my dignity. That energy, unforgettable. So next time you feel the urge to convince her, to chase her approval, to hold on tighter when she pulls away, don't. Stand still, hold frame, and if needed, walk away. Because when you show you're willing to lose her to protect your peace, you become the kind of man she'll fight to never lose. Reason 5, a man with a mission, her deepest instinct. What if I told you that the most attractive thing about you has nothing to do with your looks, your money, or even your charm? What truly draws a woman in, what stirs something primal in her, is your purpose. A man with a mission, a man who wakes up with direction, a man who's building something that doesn't revolve around her. That is her kryptonite. You see, society tells men to put her first, to shower her with attention, to make her the center of your universe. But here's the paradox. The more you orbit around her, the more she pulls away. Because deep down, a woman doesn't want to be your mission. She wants to witness your mission, to walk beside a man who's going somewhere, with or without her. A man who's driven, focused, building, evolving. He becomes magnetic without even trying. She sees that his time is limited, his attention is earned, his energy has purpose. He doesn't drop everything for a text. He doesn't rearrange his life to chase a moment of validation. He's busy living with intent, and in doing so, he becomes rare. Because most men, they make her their purpose. They text back instantly. They cancel plans. They hover, and slowly, they lose her respect. But the Stoic man, he's anchored in something deeper. He doesn't seek approval, he seeks growth. He doesn't crave attention, he cultivates excellence. His work, his discipline, his evolution, those come first. And that doesn't push women away, it pulls the right ones closer. Because women want to join a man's journey, not become his destination. So if you've been drifting, if you've been waiting for a relationship to give you direction, stop. Get clear on what you're building. Commit to the path, not the person, and let your purpose be the fire that draws her near, not the absence of it that makes you chase. Because a man without a mission is a man without gravity. But a man on a mission, he becomes the center of her world without ever asking to be. Reason 6, controlled vulnerability, power in selective openness. There's a myth floating around in modern relationships that women want men to be fully emotionally open, to always share, always express, always pour their hearts out. But here's the truth. Vulnerability isn't attractive on its own. It's only attractive when it's controlled, because women aren't drawn to raw emotion. They're drawn to the man who can face emotion without becoming consumed by it. This is one of the most misunderstood dynamics in dating and one of a woman's deepest hidden weaknesses. She can't resist a man who is strong enough to be open, but wise enough to be selective. See, when a man overshares, constantly seeking reassurance, complaining, confessing every insecurity, he doesn't build connection, he builds dependency, and that makes her feel like she has to carry him. But the Stoic man, he chooses his moments. He shows emotion with intention, not desperation. He doesn't hide who he is, but he never dumps it all on the table. He might say, "Yes, I've been through pain, but I've grown from it." Or, "There was a time I doubted myself, but I rebuilt." That kind of openness, measured, confident, battle-tested, it builds trust. It commands respect. It makes her feel like she's earned access to a part of you no one else sees. That's powerful. Because when a woman feels like you're revealing something meaningful only to her, not to the world, not to anyone else, it creates a bond deeper than words. But here's the line you can never cross. Never bleed on her just to feel seen. Don't use vulnerability as a cry for help. Don't make her your emotional crutch. Your pain, own it. Your struggle, master it. Your feelings, share them, but never from weakness. Let your emotions be like a deep ocean, visible, real, honest, but never wild, never overwhelming, never without control. Because the man who can be open without being needy, who can share without collapsing, is the man she'll trust with her heart and respect with her soul. Reason 7, her tests, how women measure your strength. Most men don't even realize it's happening. They think she's being moody, distant, difficult, maybe even disrespectful. But in truth, she's testing you. And here's what most men will never understand. These tests aren't personal, they're primal. Women test men not to play games, but to answer a deep, subconscious question. Can he handle me? Can he stay grounded when I'm emotional? Can he remain centered when I push back? Can he stay calm when I create chaos? This isn't manipulation, it's biology. Because a woman doesn't want to feel like she's leading. She wants to feel like she's safe in the presence of a man who won't flinch when the world, or she, gets stormy. And most men fail. They get defensive. They argue, explain, beg, or worse, lash out. They take everything personally and fall apart under pressure. But the Stoic man, he sees the test and smiles. When she challenges his opinion, he doesn't fold. He stands firm. When she pulls away, he doesn't chase. He gives space. When she acts unpredictable, he doesn't try to fix her. He stays steady because he understands. You don't pass her tests by reacting. You pass by not reacting. Think of it like this. She's looking for emotional gravity. If you rise and fall with every mood she throws at you, you become unpredictable and weak. But if you remain centered, grounded, calm, even amused, she'll feel a pull toward you that she can't explain. That's why women often say, "There's just something about him." What they're sensing is emotional mastery. And here's the secret most men never hear. Women only test men they're attracted to. If she didn't care, she wouldn't bother. So next time she tests you, don't get angry. Don't get rattled. Get grateful, because that's your moment to rise, to lead, to prove, without saying a word, that you're exactly what she's been hoping you are. A man she can't shake, because you've already passed the test that matters most, the one within yourself. Reason 8, rejection confidence, the unshakable aura. Most men fear it, they avoid it, they twist themselves into knots just to escape it. Rejection. But what if I told you that the way you handle rejection tells a woman everything she needs to know about your value? Because here's one of the most underappreciated truths in male-female dynamics. Women are weak for men who don't fear rejection. Let that sink in. Not because these men are cold, not because they don't care, but because they are so grounded in their own worth that a no doesn't shake them. It doesn't define them. It doesn't crack their identity. See, insecure men fear rejection because they've made it mean something about who they are. They believe a woman's no is proof that they're not good enough, not attractive enough, not man enough. And so they chase, they try harder, they negotiate, and in doing so, they lower themselves. But the Stoic man, he smiles, he nods, he says, "No worries, your loss." And he walks away, calm, whole, unaffected. Because to him, rejection is not a reflection of his worth. It's just a redirection. This kind of energy is magnetic. Why? Because women instinctively sense confidence. They're drawn to the man who doesn't need their approval, but simply offers connection from a place of abundance. When you're indifferent to outcome, when you remain unfazed by how she reacts, you become incredibly rare. And that rarity, it's irresistible. Rejection confidence also signals something deeper. You have options, you have standards. You're not desperate. And those traits, quiet confidence, calm detachment, inner sufficiency, they hit a woman's subconscious in a way words never could. So next time you're ignored, ghosted, or turned down, don't spiral. Don't seek closure. Don't ask why. Just walk with grace. Because how you handle rejection reveals your level of self-mastery. And trust this, when she sees that you're not bothered, that you're still composed, still whole, still centered, she'll remember you longer than the guy she said yes to. Because the one who doesn't fear rejection is the one who's already won. Reason 9, mystery and unpredictability fuel her curiosity. Let's be honest, if she already knows exactly what you're going to say, what you're going to do, how you're going to react, where's the excitement? Here's one of a woman's greatest hidden weaknesses. She is captivated by mystery, by the unknown, by the man she hasn't fully figured out, and maybe never will. See, most men think being open, transparent, and completely predictable will win her over. They think, if she knows how much I care, if I express everything, she'll feel secure. But emotional transparency too early kills attraction. It removes tension, it eliminates polarity, it destroys curiosity. And curiosity is the lifeblood of desire. When a woman doesn't fully know where she stands with you, when your next move isn't obvious, when your attention isn't guaranteed, she stays engaged because her mind keeps working. Why hasn't he texted back? What is he thinking? Why does he seem calm when everyone else is chasing me? Now let's be clear, this is not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about being centered in your own world, not constantly broadcasting your emotions or chasing reassurance. A high-value man, a Stoic, doesn't over-explain. He doesn't rush to respond. He doesn't dump his thoughts out like a diary entry. He lets silence speak. He lets mystery build. Because mystery activates imagination, and imagination fuels desire far more than facts ever could. You don't have to hide who you are, but you do need to pace your reveal. Let her discover you in layers. Let her earn access to the depths of your thoughts, your dreams, your pain. And when you do share, do it with intention, not insecurity. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It means stability without pattern, presence without routine, emotion without overexposure. Remember, a book that gives away the ending in chapter 1 isn't worth finishing. So if you want her full attention, stop being an open book. Start being a story worth unfolding. Because the man she can't quite read becomes the man she can't stop thinking about. Reason 10. Self-control over desire. Master yourself, master the game. There is no greater power in a man than the ability to control his desires, not suppress them, not deny them, but master them completely. Because here's the final, and perhaps most profound, female weakness. A woman cannot resist a man who does not chase her. Not because he's arrogant, not because he's disinterested, but because he is in control of himself, his urges, his energy. Most men are ruled by desire. They see a beautiful woman and they react. They flirt, they chase, they compromise, they abandon their values, all for the chance to feel accepted, to feel wanted, to feel enough. But the Stoic man, he feels those same impulses and does not act on them blindly. He doesn't chase beauty, he attracts through presence. He doesn't lower his standards for intimacy. He raises his value through discipline, and women can sense it. The man who doesn't flinch at a flirtatious glance. The man who doesn't take the bait when others would. The man who walks away, not because he's cold, but because he knows his worth. That man, he becomes unforgettable because he's rare. He's the man who can say no, not out of fear, but out of principle. He's the man who leads with purpose, not lust, who lets his mission lead, not his hormones. And when a woman sees that, when she senses that your hunger doesn't control you, she feels safe, intrigued, and magnetically drawn to you. Why? Because desire without control feels desperate, but desire with control feels powerful. It tells her, I want you, but I don't need you. I desire you, but I choose purpose over pleasure. I see your beauty, but I serve something higher than that. And that mindset is intoxicating. Because in a world full of men chasing anything that moves, you become the man who moves only with intent. So master your desire, not to impress her, but to become untouchable, unstoppable, and undeniable. Because when you no longer seek validation through women, you become the kind of man women seek validation from. Stoic Power Recap, Summary and Key Insight. Let's take a breath, because if you've made it this far, you've seen the patterns, not of manipulation, not of tactics, but of truth. Truth about human nature and truth about yourself. You've learned that the most attractive men aren't loud, they aren't overbearing, and they don't chase, they lead, they remain calm, They control themselves in a world that rewards chaos. Let's recap what makes a woman drawn to you. Deeply, instinctively, and often without understanding why. Emotional certainty, your ability to be her calm when storms rise. Scarcity, the magnetic power of not always being available. Presence and voice, how you walk, speak, and hold space without effort. The willingness to walk away, rooted not in arrogance, but in self-respect. Purpose, a mission greater than any momentary pleasure. Controlled vulnerability, showing depth without losing strength. Passing her tests, not through reaction, but through stillness. Confidence in rejection, signaling you already know your worth. Mystery, the space you give her mind to chase you. Desire under discipline, not needing her, but choosing with intention. All of these at their core come from within, from the mindset of a man who governs himself. That's what Stoicism is about. Not emotionlessness, but emotional mastery. Not avoidance, but awareness. Not control of others, but control of the one thing that truly matters, you. So ask yourself, where do you need to tighten your frame? Where have you been giving away power? Through neediness, reactivity, or lack of direction? Because once you reclaim it, once you stand firm in your values, your path, and your purpose, you won't have to chase women. You'll attract respect effortlessly. So here's the truth. You don't need to become someone else to attract the respect, love, or attention you seek. You don't need tricks, lines, or games. You don't need to perform. What you need is to return to yourself, to your center, to that calm, focused, self-governing core that no one can shake. That's what Stoicism gives you. And that's what women respond to. Not because you're trying to get them to, but because strength, peace, and purpose can't be ignored. When you stop chasing approval, when you stop fearing rejection, when you choose discipline over impulse and clarity over chaos, you become magnetic. Not because of what you do, but because of who you've become. So if this message resonated with you, if you felt the truth in these words, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to True Stoic Way, because this isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life, a way of leading, loving, building, and becoming from the inside out. Until next time, stay grounded, stay sharp, and as always, never chase